What's up, curious youngsters? If we keep wasting time on pointless activities or watching endless videos, we just get odd YouTube recommendations. Why not spend a few minutes teaching curiosity? Learning 30 totally epic facts that you'll forget in about 10 minutes, but these aren't just any facts. They're going to leave you completely amazed. For this and much more, these are 30 things you didn't know 5 minutes ago. 1. With so many people, encountering cheaters is common, but no one can believe how dishonest Charles King was, a former Liberian president who, in 1927, won the most fraudulent election in history. He won with 240,000 votes when there were only about 15,000 people eligible to vote in the country. The trick, Charles II. If you enjoy fast food, this will fascinate you. Like Willy Wonka, McDonald's decided to give a golden card to select people worldwide. Billionaires. Warren Buffett and Bill Gates can use this card to get free McDonald's food anywhere, anytime. 3. New York is such a touristy and luxurious city that it has thousands of restaurants. One example is Enoteca Maria, a unique restaurant with no chefs or professional cooks. Here, grandmothers from around the world cook. Every night, a different grandmother designs her menu and it's offered at the restaurant Quattro. A less encouraging fact is that the Maldives are the world's flattest country. The highest peak they have is only 2.3 meters tall, which makes them one of the most endangered islands as sea levels rise. I don't want to go, Mr. Planeta Cinco. Leopards are one of the most amazing big cats on the planet. Their incredible fur and shape are super attractive. And one interesting thing about this beast is that besides being super fast, they have great jumping skills. They can easily jump over 2 meters high and leap more than 6 meters horizontally. Believe it or not, there's a syndrome called Alice in Wonderland, also known as micropsia. This syndrome affects people's visual perception, causing them to see objects much smaller than they are in real life, and in addition, they may appear much farther away than they actually are. It was named so because people believe writer Lewis Carroll had it, inspiring his book Alice 7, An Incredible People of Humanity. We come across Charles Osborne, an American who made it into the Guinness Book of Records. He holds the record for the longest hiccups, which began in 1922 and lasted 68 years. Yeah, let the shocked owl in. Let's go. This persistent hiccup began while he was weighing a pig to be slaughtered, and only ended with his death at 97. Surprisingly, musician Arnold Schoenberg had a strong fear of the number 13. At 76, he stayed in bed all day to avoid a fatal accident. Since the number 76 has a 7 and a 6, and the sum of these gives us 13. The craziest part is that he ended up dying in his bed that same day, which was none other than a Friday the 13th. 9. One of the biggest fears in the face of so much technology is the lack of security. And a few years ago, the hacker Han Chrysler managed to recreate the German defense minister's fingerprint from photocopies and photos of his hand. 10. The animated series The Simpsons is known for depicting real historical events. In one episode, the characters suffer an attack while watching a Japanese cartoon on television. This is based on an event in Japan in 1997. Pokemon had aired the episode called Electric Soldier Porygon, and hundreds of children ended up in the hospital having epileptic seizures. Let's see if you knew this, my friend, once. In Finland, they cleverly invented the cardboard tube for toilet paper rolls. It is biodegradable and begins to break down on contact with water. This allows us, when we go to the bathroom and finish the toilet paper roll, to throw the cardboard tube into the toilet without it getting clogged. Well, within the country of Myanmar, we find Inle Lake, which is one of the largest in the country. It became well known for its unique community living entirely off the lake. Known as the Sinta, they live from fishing and their entire village is located on the water. Although it may seem incredible, Bulgaria is the only country where people nod left to right to say yes. To say no, they nod up and down. What a strange custom, Bulgarian gentlemen. 14. Elephants are huge, but also very gentle animals. You probably didn't know that baby elephants, like little kids, suck their trunks when they're just a few months old, similar to how children suck their thumbs. 15 amazing news stories. In 2015, a Canadian named Daniel Bora was inspired by the movie Up. He had the idea to tie more than 100 helium-filled balloons to a chair and go for a ride above the city. It didn't end well. After jumping from the chair, he parachuted into a field. The man was arrested and fined by the police, 16. Human beings are very creative, and thanks to engineering developments and technology, we even have a river that flows over another river. Yes, this is real. The Magdeburg Bridge in Germany is a bridge that carries a river. Good job, German gentlemen. 17. We all had or have stuffed animals. And one of the classics is bears, and even if you give it any name you want, in the United States they're known as teddy bears, that is, teddy bear. But this name wasn't chosen at random. It has a great story based on former President Theodore Roosevelt, who in 1901 refused to shoot a large black bear. Because of his good deed with these animals, the nickname Teddy was chosen, 18. Starbucks coffee shop became very famous in the last decade, and maybe it was because of the detail of putting their customers' names on the drinks. But not the correct name, but rather many marketing specialists suggest that employees are ordered to usually write wrong names. That way, people post it on social media and give the brand publicity. 19. One of the most interesting sections of 30 Things is the strange phobias. And today we have hylophobia, which is simply the fear of trees or wooden objects. And apparently this phobia usually occurs in young children who are traumatized by enchanted forests in children's books or movies. Don't be scared, Timmy, it's only a tree. 20. In 1990, when Jim Henson, the creator of the Muppets, died, Disney showed kindness by publishing this drawing of Mickey Mouse comforting Kermit the Frog on a log. 21. In a city in Arizona called Cottonwood, there's a hotel called Dove Bark Park where people can stay together with their pets. The funny thing, besides the building being shaped like a beagle, is it only fits 2 people. 22. People, because of religion and different beliefs, can do things that are very, very extreme. And this, for example, is a Buddhist monk who was found mummified inside an 11th century statue. The worst part is the monk spent months preparing to die inside this statue. But how horrifying. 23. If we ask what superpower a person would like to have, flying or being able to breathe underwater are probably the most common answers. But did you know that there is a tribe called the Bahau who live in the Philippines and are known for holding their breath for up to 13 minutes and diving as deep as 60 meters under the sea? And the explanation lies in the spleen, which has evolved and grown much larger than normal over the years. 24. McDonald's has evolved a lot since its origins and has expanded all over the world. But even so, we can find that in the city of Downey, California, there is still a McDonald's from 1953 in operation. And this one preserves its historic design. 25, according to some workers from the great Disney company. At one point, there was an idea to create a big park, which would be 100% dedicated to the villains from the movies. Would this one differ from the Disney castle, making Maleficent's castle the main building? The investors apparently disliked the idea and rejected it. 26. Among Earth's rare animals is the Siberian musk deer. It is famous worldwide for its protruding fangs and kangaroo-like face. The strangest thing is that even with these fangs, it is still herbivorous, and these replace the well-known antlers of classic deer. How strange, Mrs. Naturaleza 27. We continue with the incredibly real news, and we find that in 1958, a New York man, Robert Lane, gave his 2 sons unusual names. On one hand, there was winner, and on the other hand, there was loser. And if this wasn't strange enough, winner had a life full of trouble with the law, and loser became a successful detective. 28. One of the most popular gestures in human history is the handshake. What seems like a simple greeting actually began as a way to show you weren't holding a weapon or planning to attack. 29. Minerals are impressive, and this is what a scolecite formation looks like. Truly amazing. This mineral may resemble a diamond sea urchin, but it's found in caves worldwide, often near lava flows. 30. If you don't know which sport you can practice to get some physical activity, why not just play tag? There's even a world championship for tag called World Chase Tag. And this consists of catching your opponent in less than 20 seconds, moving through a course full of obstacles. Before I leave, let me greet the subscribers. Big shout out to Santiago Banega and another to Enrique Cordero. I'll send a quick shout out to Hector Hugo Hernandez Rodriguez. Shout out to Maria Milaboa and to Christian Calderon, whom I owed a greeting for a while. I'll send a welcome greeting to Melissa Zainon, who's new to the channel. Another shout out to Christian Nicokero and a big one to David Ramirez. And finally, I'm going to send greetings to Kappa Bueller Kappa. Another shout out to Felipe Garcia. Finally, a shout out to the legend Diego Sosa. Leave a like, comment anything, and share the channel and video with your friends. More pesos in Curio City. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss any new videos. I'm Krusty.